Most travelers don't lose meds at TSA because the medicine is illegal. They lose them because they pack them like regular toiletries, show up with unlabeled stuff, or forget to declare medical liquids and needles. That's when your bag gets pulled, the line slows down, and suddenly you're deciding what to surrender on the spot. In this video, I'm going through 7 medication types that get stopped the most: liquid prescriptions, creams and gels, contact solution, injectables and sharps, EpiPens, inhalers and nebulizer meds, and cannabis-based products, and the simple do this steps that keep them with you. Separate it, label it, and declare it before they have to ask. I'll also flag the one thing TSA can't protect you from: a destination country's customs rules, which can be stricter than US security. If you want a smooth checkpoint and zero surprises, this is the checklist to follow. Number 1. Liquid medicines. Liquid meds are the easiest to lose at the checkpoint because they look exactly like regular toiletries on an X-ray. Think cough syrup, liquid pain relievers, liquid antibiotics, prescription mouth rinse, liquid nutrition you medically need, even some liquid vitamins if you truly need them during the trip. TSA's standard liquid rule for non-medical items is the famous 311 limit: 3.4 ounces/100 milliliters per container. So a full-size bottle of medicine can get treated like it doesn't belong in the cabin if you pack it like shampoo. The move that keeps your medicine from being tossed is to handle it like a medical item from the first second you hit the belt.
Keep medically necessary liquids in their own clear pouch. Pull that pouch out before your bag goes into the bin, and tell the officer right away, "I'm traveling with medically necessary liquids and medication." TSA's own guidance says medication in liquid form is allowed in carry-on bags in reasonable quantities, and it's not necessary to put medically required liquids in the quart-size zip-top bag with your toiletries, but you do need to tell the officer at the start of screening so it can be handled correctly. The reasonable quantities part matters. Bring what you actually need for your trip, plus a little buffer for delays, not a suitcase-size supply. If you want less hassle, downsize what you can. A practical setup is splitting liquids into 2 layers: a tiny under 3.4 ounce in-flight bottle in your regular liquids bag, and the larger bottle in your medical pouch that you declare. That way you're never forced to open your whole carry-on on the spot. Labeling helps too. TSA doesn't require every medication to be in a prescription bottle, but they recommend medicines be clearly labeled to make screening easier. And they also point out that some US states have their own rules about prescription labeling. So if your liquid is prescription, keeping the pharmacy label on it is the simplest way to avoid questions. One more quick point, because people mix this up with the liquid rules. Solid medication doesn't have a 3.4 ounce limit. Tablets, capsules, blister packs, and powder packets are generally fine in carry-on or checked bags, as long as they're screened. But fine doesn't always mean fast. If you dump pills into an unmarked baggie or carry a bunch of loose tablets, you're more likely to get extra questions. TSA says medications don't have to be in prescription bottles, but keeping at least your prescriptions in labeled containers is the easiest way to avoid delays, and it also helps you stay compliant with state rules and international customs rules.
A simple habit that saves you when something goes missing is snapping a clear photo of every prescription label and storing it offline on your phone. Also remember, everything you bring has to be screened. If an item can't be screened or you refuse a screening step, it may not be allowed through. So the calm, cooperative approach is part of the hack here. Number 2, prescription creams and gels. If it spreads, smears, or squeezes out like a paste, TSA will usually treat it like a liquid/gel at security.
That includes prescription steroid creams, eczema ointments, acne gels, antifungal creams, medicated burn gel, and many pain relief rubs. People lose these because they pack them like cosmetics. A big tube of prescription creams sitting next to moisturizer looks like a normal toiletry, so it gets caught in the same liquid rules. The fix is basically the same as with liquid medicine. Separate it and declare it if it's over the normal limit. Keep the tube in its original labeled container whenever you can. Don't transfer prescription creams into tiny, unmarked jars unless you absolutely have to, because an unmarked jar just looks like mystery paste, and that slows everything down. If space is the issue, ask your pharmacy about smaller tubes or travel-size packaging before you fly. When that's not possible, keep a photo of the prescription label on your phone and keep the original packaging at home as a backup reference. For longer trips, splitting your supply is smart. Keep the main tube in your carry-on medical pouch and pack a small backup tube or a few single-use packets in a second place, like your personal item. That way, if your carry-on gets gate-checked or delayed, you still have something in the cabin. And if you're flying internationally, treat labels as non-negotiable. TSA might not demand a prescription bottle, but customs in another country often expects your name and the medication name on the package, so original labeled packaging is the safer default. Number 3, contact lens solution and saline. Contact lens solution is one of the most common "why did my bag get pulled" items, because the bottles are often 4 ounces or larger, and travelers treat them like shampoo.
TSA's own item guidance recommends placing contact lens solutions over 3.4 ounces in checked baggage, even though medically necessary liquids can be allowed in carry-on when declared. In practice, the best setup is simple. Keep a travel-size bottle in your carry-on so you're covered during the flight and the first night, and put your full-size bottle in checked luggage if you're checking a bag. If you're not checking a bag, treat the larger bottle like any other medical liquid. Keep it separate, keep it clearly labeled, and declare it at the start of screening. Put the bottle inside a small, sealed bag to catch leaks, because a spill is a fast way to turn a quick screening into a full bag search. Don't pour contact solution into a random bottle. Even if it's technically allowed, unlabeled liquids increase the odds of extra screening. Same idea for saline used for medical rinses or eye care. If it's over the normal liquid limit and you truly need it, separate and declare it. A small extra move that saves headaches is packing a second option: glasses or a sealed spare pair of contacts in a protective case. It's not about expecting problems. It's about not being stuck if a bottle leaks, breaks, or gets delayed in screening. And here's a bigger travel reality that matters. TSA is airport security, not customs. For international trips, getting through TSA is only step 1. At your destination, customs rules can be stricter than TSA, and the CDC warns that countries have their own medicine laws and authorities can take away medicine if it's not permitted. So eye care products are a good reminder to pack clean, label clearly, and check your destination and even layover rules before you fly. Number 4, injectables, insulin supplies, and needles. Injectable meds are common now. Insulin, GLP-1 injection pens, fertility meds, migraine injections, biologics, and more. TSA allows these, but the packaging is what decides whether you glide through or get stuck explaining your whole bag. Start with the basics. Keep injectables in your carry-on. Temperature and delays are the two enemies here, and checked bags are the worst place for either. Next, keep the medication and the injection supplies together. TSA's rule for syringes is clear. Unused syringes are allowed when accompanied by injectable medication.
and you must declare them to security officers at the checkpoint. For used syringes, TSA allows them only when transported in a sharps disposal container or another similar hard surface container. That's not a technicality. Loose sharps are a safety issue. So pack a real sharps container, even a travel size one, and don't improvise with a thin plastic bag or tissue. For insulin specifically, TSA guidance says insulin pumps and supplies must be accompanied by insulin, and insulin in any form or dispenser has to be clearly identified. In real life, that means keeping the pen box or pharmacy label when you can, storing everything in a hard case so it doesn't get crushed, and putting needles, lancets, and alcohol wipes in a separate inner pouch so you can show it quickly if asked. If your medication needs to stay cool, keep the ice packs or gel packs with the meds and be ready to say they're for medical storage. Packing them separately without context is how people get them questioned. If you wear an insulin pump or a glucose monitor, tell the officer before screening begins so it doesn't turn into a surprise during the scan. If you'd rather not explain out loud, TSA has a printable TSA Disability Notification Card you can hand to an officer to discreetly communicate a medical condition or device. And one of the most overlooked airport secrets is TSA Cares.
You can contact TSA Cares at least 72 hours before travel to ask questions about screening and request help. And if your flight is within 72 hours, they direct travelers to call the TSA Cares phone line. That's useful if you're traveling with a lot of injectable supplies and want fewer surprises at the checkpoint. Number 5. EpiPens and emergency allergy meds. Epinephrine auto-injectors are allowed, but they're the kind of medical item that gets delayed when it's buried inside a cluttered bag. TSA lists EpiPens as allowed in carry-on and checked bags, but for real-life travel, keep them with you in the cabin, not in a checked suitcase. You want them accessible on the plane and also protected from rough handling. The cleanest setup is an emergency pouch. Auto-injectors, any essential antihistamine, and any related meds you might need fast. Leave the prescription label on the box if you can, or keep a photo of it on your phone. That's not about TSA being suspicious. It's about speed if your bag gets pulled and someone asks what it is. If you're traveling with kids, it's also smart to keep the emergency pouch in the adult's personal item that stays under the seat, not in the overhead bin, because you don't want to scramble during turbulence. Also, if you carry liquid allergy meds, children's liquid meds, or liquid antacid that you genuinely need, remember you're back in the medically necessary liquid category. Separate and declare anything that's over the normal limit so it doesn't get treated like a random oversized bottle. For international trips, the CDC specifically suggests asking your provider for a note if you use controlled substances or injectable medicines such as EpiPens and insulin, and keeping meds in original labeled containers. That one small document can make airport conversations easier if you get questioned by border officers later. Number 6. Inhalers and nebulizer medications. Inhalers are allowed, and TSA lists inhalers as permitted in carry-on and checked baggage with special instructions. The issue is almost never, is it allowed? It's, can they clearly see what it is? If you pack inhalers like random aerosols and bury them, your bag is more likely to be pulled. Keep inhalers together. Keep at least one within easy reach, and don't pack your only rescue inhaler in a checked bag. Add nasal sprays to this category too. Most are small enough to fit the normal liquid limit, but if you travel with larger, medically necessary sprays, treat them like medical liquids and declare them. For nebulizers, TSA guidance says nebulizers, along with CPAPs and similar devices,
may remain in their carrying case and go through X-ray screening. That's helpful because you don't have to expose the parts or tubing on the belt. Still, medical devices are dense, so be ready for extra screening like a swab or a quick look. Pack nebulizer liquid vials and any larger saline the same way you pack other medical liquids. Together, easy to access, declared if needed. A simple pro move is carrying a short medication list with generic names, not just brand names. It's useful if you're questioned by a border officer later, and it's also useful if you need an emergency refill and the local pharmacy uses different branding. One more practical point. Don't pack a half-used inhaler loose in the bottom of your bag. Use a small hard case or zip case so it doesn't crack, leak, or get activated by pressure in your luggage. If you use a spacer, peak flow meter, or a small mask attachment, keep it in that same pouch so it doesn't get separated in the bins or mistaken for a random plastic tube. Number 7. Cannabis-based medication and THC oils. This is the category that creates the biggest misunderstandings. People hear medical marijuana and assume it travels like a prescription. In the US, TSA's guidance says marijuana and certain cannabis-infused products, including some CBD oil, remain illegal under federal law, with exceptions for products that contain no more than 0.3% THC on a dry weight basis, or products that are FDA approved. TSA officers aren't searching for drugs, but if something that appears to be illegal is found during screening, TSA refers it to law enforcement. So if you're trying to avoid problems at the airport, the best move is not bringing THC products through security at all, even if it's legal in your state. If you use CBD, be strict about what you buy. Keep it in original packaging. Make sure it's hemp-derived and within the legal THC limit, and understand that CBD on the label doesn't automatically mean it matches federal rules. Then, zoom out to international travel, because this is where travelers get shocked. The CDC warns that each country has its own laws related to medicines, and medicines that are common in the US might be unlicensed or considered controlled substances elsewhere, with consequences that can include authorities taking away your medicine. Many countries allow only a limited supply and require a prescription or medical certificate, and you also have to think about layovers, because rules can apply in transit too. So, for any medication that could raise questions, strong pain meds, stimulants, sedatives, or anything controlled, the safest routine is check the destination's embassy rules before you leave, carry copies of prescriptions with generic names, and keep your meds in original, labeled containers. If you're entering the United States with medication, U.S. Customs and Border Protection advises traveling only with your own medication that was prescribed to you or legally obtained in the U.S. and keeping it in the original container with the doctor's instructions when possible. If you're traveling for more than a month, plan the supply before you go. Many destinations only allow a limited supply and may require a prescription or a medical certificate. And when you cross time zones, don't guess your dosing by the local clock. Ask your provider how to shift safely, because it's usually based on the time since your last dose. Pack a few extra days of medication for delays, and keep that extra in a separate pocket or pouch so one lost bag doesn't wipe out your whole trip. Also, check rules for any layover country, because a strict transit stop can cause the same problems as your final destination. Keep one printed copy of key prescriptions with you, not just on your phone.